Welcome to the Balanced Blueprint Masterclass. My name is Bree Perry. I'm an anti-diet and body positive health coach, focusing on helping my clients achieve food freedom and boosting their body confidence. When I went to college back in 2010, I was studying biology and I was living out on my own for the first time, eating a lot of ramen noodles and fast food, and not playing basketball or softball or any of my high school sports anymore. AKA, I was pretty sedentary and I gained 20 pounds. I was very shameful of the fact that I had gained weight, and I was pretty much down to do anything in order to lose the weight and feel like I fit in again and was worthy and all those things. I came across If It Fits Your Macros. There were a lot of people that I looked up to online doing the bodybuilding workouts and counting their macros, and I thought they looked really great. So I trusted that route to help me achieve this dream body and cultivate ultimate happiness. And little did I know that it was just gonna lead me down a path of a lot of yo-yo dieting, basically. Initially, when I jumped on board, it took about 6 months, but I had lost my 20 pounds. I was back in my old clothes and, hoorah. But it kind of left me with a whole slew of other problems. I was binging most nights from restricting my food throughout the day. I was always scared to enjoy some of my favorite foods like cookies, pizza, candy, burgers, for fear of this scale going up a couple pounds the next day. I constantly picked apart my body. Although I had lost the weight, I still was disgusted with my cellulite and hated my thick thighs. I thought that if I just kept losing weight or eating more protein and lifting more weights, that my body would chisel out to be this perfect masterpiece. And all of my thoughts and all of my life started to revolve around what I was eating and when I was going to fit my workouts in. And I finally hit this point when I was like, something's gotta give. Why aren't I happy? I've been doing everything that everyone says that I should do in order to lose weight. What's going on? I got burnt out at the gym and started hating it, which sucked because that's something that I used to always love to do. I used to always love going to the gym, lifting weights, listening to music, doing my groovy thing. But when I got burnt out, I still forced myself to go because I needed to burn off calories, as I was consuming them. And it was just a vicious cycle because I never gave myself the true breather that I needed. And still to this day, I still go through seasons of not wanting to lift weights anymore, which is unfortunate because I know all the health benefits. After finally getting fed up with all of the starting and stopping this diet, the pendulum completely swung to the other direction and I was doing absolutely nothing. And I still felt like a failure, right? Because now I was just eating anything and everything and I was never working out, and I just kind of got to this low place of what now? Obviously I didn't want to go back to counting macros because that didn't work. And so as I was Googling online, being burnt out from dieting, intuitive eating popped up. And that's kind of when I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I purchased the book, read it cover to cover, and just fell in love. I loved the idea of the freedom and the simplicity around it, and the fact that there was also a framework to kind of follow and steps to take myself through. I liked that loose structure a lot. As a type B person, I am not type A. I was forcing myself to be type A with the dieting and the workouts and shit, but no. As a type B person, the loose structure is just perfect for me. It gives me guidance, but it's not restrictive and all-consuming. I had gotten certified in health coaching the year before, but as I said, I got burnt out and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna coach people through this. But once I found the intuitive eating, that relit a spark in me, and I was like, I've gotta share this with the world. Pretty quickly I started feeling better. Obviously, step one is building awareness around your thoughts. I don't know if they ever fully go away, but they definitely turn the volume way down, and you're just able to reframe your thoughts a lot easier as you practice. I started slowly shifting my thoughts around food and my body, and I was feeling so good. I was hopeful and, just freaking content again, with my body, with what I was eating, how often I was moving, and it was honestly bricks lifted off of my back, and I felt so free. I don't know that I had really felt that way since being a kid. Even in high school, things were never as serious in high school, but you still compare yourself to everyone. You still wish you were as skinny as your skinniest friend and things like that, which I think is natural, but it's not necessarily healthy. But no one taught us any different. Nobody like took our hand and told us actually like everybody's body is unique and that's a beautiful thing. Like you don't need to look like anybody else but yourself. Diet culture basically ruins our brains, but I promise there's hope. So in today's masterclass, we're going to cover intuitive eating, movement, and body confidence. I think these are the 3 key things to create a simple, easy, healthy lifestyle. I'm gonna actually read you the definition of intuitive eating because I don't wanna skew it at all. Like I wanna read it perfectly too because it's really impactful. Intuitive eating is an approach to food and eating that encourages individuals to tune into their hunger, their body's natural hunger and fullness cues, rather than relying on external diet rules or restrictions. It is based on the idea that our bodies have an innate wisdom that guides us to eat in a way that supports overall well-being. Basically, tuning in versus looking for something outward, whether that's calories or points or macros. As I dive in deeper with my one-on-one coaching, like we talk about those things a little bit, but I think just to get started, you don't even need to worry about that yet. You know, we're just gonna kind of build balance plates loosely. I will list the intuitive eating principles on the side here. There's 10 of them. And I'm not gonna dive into them. I do that in my one-on-one coaching, but I'd like you to kind of peek at them and see which ones might resonate with you and where maybe you could start working on some things. Because you can easily just Google one of the principles and exercises could come up. So first I wanna share with you some of the benefits that intuitive eating brought into my life and that you could experience too if you start implementing it. Intuitive eating was definitely a bridge for me from like dieting and doing nothing. It's kind of this like healthy middle ground where you're being mindful of what you're eating, but you're not like calculating every little thing that you're eating. So intuitive eating helped me stop binging on the cookies, the pizza, the frickin' sweets, the chips, like any of those kind of like high value foods that can, I don't know, lead to overeating because they taste so good or because you don't normally allow those things in your diet day to day. That was kind of a big thing that I was doing is like, I can only eat those things on special occasions or on the weekends. Whatever. You have to kind of release that because that high pressure of like, I'm not allowed to have it makes your brain want it more. And it makes you think that once you are enjoying it and eating it, that's going to be the only time you get to eat it for a while. So you kind of go all in. But once you open the doors, it's like way easier to be in control around food, like actually in control, not like trying to control yourself, but feeling like you know how to balance everything. Intuitive eating helped me love and respect my body, even 20 pounds heavier. Like all that weight that I was trying to lose, I've realized it's actually just my happy weight. Like that's the weight that is easy for me to maintain, that I feel my best at, that I can enjoy all kinds of foods. I can still do any sort of movement that I want. There's no need for me to try to lose weight to fit some beauty standard or some diet standard. I am totally healthy right now as I am. And that's such a good feeling to just know that in your soul and go out into the world with confidence. I look forward and love exercising again. My workouts look different now, of course. And actually, I don't even know that I'm like working out. It's more like intentional daily movement. I love to go for walks. I do yoga most mornings. I go through seasons where I do implement weightlifting, but it's not something that I feel like I have to do every day or even every week. Yeah, so that feels great. I experience less shame, guilt, and stress around food, which has been incredible. And my energy levels are so much better throughout the day because I'm not restricting and then binging and restricting and binging. I just feel like I can eat breakfast, and then if I start to feel sluggish around lunch, I can eat lunch, and that gives me energy, and then I'm ready to rock for dinner. And if ever I kind of want a snack or a little sweet treat or something, I have it, and it feels so good. 5 tips to help you get started with intuitive eating just today. You can start implementing these right away and give me feedback. Let me know how this goes for you. My first thing is start eating every 3 to 4 hours. Food is gonna be your energy throughout the day. So if ever your belly starts to grumble or whatever, like don't ignore that and skip the meal. Like go find something to eat. It's gonna give you energy. It's gonna help level your blood sugar. It's going to help you combat stress easier. Like there's a lot of benefits to eating food. So definitely start to build this like positive relationship with food and make sure that you're eating regularly throughout the day. Start checking in regularly. I think a lot of us are so busy or we spent so much time dieting that we don't naturally take time to like check in and be like, am I hungry? Is it time to eat yet? So if you're new to like starting to do this and you're listening to me, you're like, yeah, I don't eat enough. I don't eat regularly. Just start checking in. Maybe even set timers on your phone for the first 4 weeks at, around when you wake up, maybe within that hour of waking up, 3 hours after that, just throughout the day. And you can start tuning in and deciding like when you need to eat versus having everything just be kind of a free-for-all. Now, when you do eat mindfully. So this is going to involve looking at your food, smelling your food, chewing each bite up thoroughly and tasting it really well, not scrolling on our phone, not dilly-dallying around, like sit down and eat your food mindfully and see how that experience is. With eating mindfully comes pausing during your meal. So maybe once you finish a quarter of your food, you kind of pause and assess your hunger levels on a scale of 1 to 10. How full are you? And in the beginning, you might want to eat to like a 7 or an 8 because we're still kind of eating kind of fast in the beginning. And just because you feel like you're at a 7 or an 8, your food might digest a little more and then bump you up to that 9 or 10 where you're like perfectly full. Really good to kind of err on the earlier thing because you can always go back and eat more food. But in the beginning, it's nice to prevent the overeating as you're practicing. Step 2 is daily intentional movement. There are so many benefits to getting intentional movement in every day. I don't know about you, but my job is very sedentary and I could probably go all day without moving if I didn't actively try to get up and go for a walk or do a little chore or something along those lines. Before implementing intentional daily movement into my days, there would be days where I would get up from work and I'd be like so achy and stiff and just mentally drained by the end. And even if your job isn't super sedentary and you do get movement in, there's still something about just like carving out a little bit of time just for you to go move in the way that you want to. Daily intentional movement can boost your mood, strengthen your muscles, pump up your cardiovascular system, strengthen your bones and your tendons. It can reduce stress, help you sleep better. There's really like so many benefits. And I think we all kind of know this, but movement is still something that's so easily just like scooted to the side when our life feels like it's getting really busy. I think the pickle that a lot of people find themselves is the good old all or nothing mentality where we think that if we're not dripping sweat for 60 minutes, then it doesn't count. But there's been so much research that's showed that even taking 10 minutes a day for yourself to get up and go get some movement in and get your heart rate up just a little bit is so beneficial. Movement for you might look like meeting up with a friend on your lunch break to walk and talk, or going to the gym and walking on the treadmill and listening to a podcast or an audiobook. It might be as simple as setting a timer and sweeping, mopping, and vacuuming your house, all the like kind of movie chores, and calling it a day. It could be doing yard work. It could be a traditional yoga video, Pilates video, or strength workout. One of my clients loves to walk laps around the playground while her kids are there playing. You could walk your dog. You could really just kind of think about your life and the things that you already do and decide like, where could I add movement in and what would be fun for me and something that I can see myself doing for the long run. So once you decide what you're going to be doing, I want to share a couple tips with how to stay consistent with your new movement. The first tip that I find very helpful is to do it at the same time each day. For me, that looks like getting up, putting my contacts in, putting on comfy clothes, and doing yoga for 20 minutes. If I do it before I go do too many other things in the house, it's like it's done and dusted and I feel accomplished and my body feels a lot better. It's just a really great way to start the day for me. For you, this could look like going on your lunch break, after lunch, or maybe after dinner or before dinner, like before you even go home and like decompress. So fit it in somewhere that's gonna work with your schedule and your routine. Tip 2 is set your comfy clothes out the night before or your workout clothes the night before, along with your shoes and socks. I also recommend like keeping a pair of comfortable shoes in your car. That way, if you do have some free time randomly, you could go for a walk, bundle up, go get it done. This could look like putting it in your calendar as a non-negotiable. So for me, it's like I've got my kind of daily things that I like to do most days and that I just do first thing in the morning. But there are other things like if I am gonna do a couple strength workouts, I like to put that in the calendar because that's going to require me to like get a little bit more sweaty. So I might have to clean up a little bit afterwards. So I can kind of decide like, do I want to do that after my work day on this day? Or do I have a bigger gap in the morning where I could get it done in the morning and still have time to like clean up without feeling rushed and stressed? And my fourth and last tip is to start journaling it out. I know a lot of people feel like journaling is a little bit vulnerable, which I can kind of see, but there's something so powerful about writing down your goals and reflecting on them for sure. But for this specifically, I find it very helpful to regularly write out all the reasons why you're wanting to stick with this new movement routine and how great it makes you feel and just all the reasons why you want to keep doing it. And writing that every day, pen to paper, really starts solidifying it in your mind and gets you to like get into the place of like, I love this, I enjoy this, and I want to do it. This is not a chore. This is something I have to do. Like, this is just what I want to be a part of my lifestyle, my routines. Okay, great. So we're intuitively eating, we're getting some more movement into our lifestyle, and last, we're gonna start talking about body confidence, because you can go through the motions of those two things, but if you are not working on your mindset around your body, you're not gonna feel all the great changes that are possible for you. Some common misconceptions about body confidence are that happiness depends on your body size. Happiness and fulfillment are not exclusive to certain body types or sizes. A positive body image is about accepting and appreciating your body as it is. Kind of tag teaming onto that misconception is that weight loss equals happiness. I know from experience that isn't true. True well-being comes from working on this up here. The third misconception is that body positivity ignores health. And that's one that I'm really passionate about because I don't believe that that's true. I think that diet culture has brainwashed us into believing that if you are in a bigger body, you're unhealthy. Realistically, I know so many women that are quote unquote in a bigger body and they're kicking ass in the gym. They eat healthy. They feel good in their body and comfortable in their skin. So I call BS on the, if you're happy about your body, but you're not the perfect ideal dream body, you're not healthy. That's not true. You can practice body positivity no matter what size your body is. And the last misconception I'm going to talk about is that body positivity equals arrogance. And I think that body confidence is more about self-acceptance and self-love, not arrogance. I just wanted to touch on those misconceptions because I feel like it's important to kind of bring ourselves aware of those thoughts that we may be having in order to kind of foster a better relationship with our body and have a more realistic understanding of body confidence. Promoting self-acceptance, embracing diversity, and encouraging positive conversations about body image creates a more body positive culture as a whole. Building a positive body image is a process that involves changing the way that you perceive your body. And next, I want to share strategies to help you work on that. The first one is to challenge these negative thoughts that you're having. For me, it was my cellulite on the back of my legs. Whether I was 135 pounds or I am now 170 pounds, I have cellulite on the back of my legs. And even when I was 140 pounds, I would turn around and look at the cellulite on the back of my legs and be completely disgusted. And I think that stems from a lot of different things. Seeing magazines where they would have pictures of like Britney Spears when I was a kid, like these horrible, like blurry pictures of her and her cellulite on the back of her legs, and it would be just totally bashing her. Watching Lizzie McGuire, young girls, and they're like talking about their body and how they didn't like those things about their body. So then I'm just taking that in and taking that for myself too. Like, oh, if they don't like that, I shouldn't like that. I'm bigger than she is. It's all about our perception, but I think that honestly, it's just kind of crazy because if it were the opposite of those things that I just listed, if there were pictures of Christina Aguilera or Beyonce with their cellulite and it was being embraced, maybe like it is today in some places you can find online, I think if you grow up seeing that, like cellulite being normal, because it is normal, like 80% of women have cellulite. That would like promote a different outcome for us women growing up in life. Or if there were movies that had women that weren't totally skinny and flawless, like if there were more movies that embraced regular body type, we wouldn't be so ashamed that we didn't look like that. It's a whole kind of thing with diet culture and beauty standards and whatnot. But when you get in my coaching container, we start bringing all that stuff to the surface and start really addressing it and figuring out what the root cause is of these like negative thoughts about your body. Once we're, challenging our negative thoughts, now we're gonna kind of start focusing on what our body can do and start trying to look for some of the great things that it's already doing. Versus before we were so hyper fixated on everything that was wrong, we're gonna start doing something different. We're gonna shift our focus from appearance to functionality. We start acknowledging and appreciating what our body can do, whether that's dancing, walking, lifting weights, holding yoga poses. We just start to be very grateful and tune into those feelings of like gratitude and love and respect. And it really starts to shift everything. Next one, I'm very passionate about this one too, is wear clothes that make you feel cute AF. Okay? Just because this girl's wearing these clothes and she looks like this and I look different, that does not mean that you can't pull it off too. Another thing, for a lot of my life, I wore a medium, and then gradually I was kind of like growing out of my medium, and then before I knew it, the next summer I was needing like XL, but I was like feeling so bad about having to purchase bigger clothing. It was really huge when I started like releasing those worries and realized that like whether I'm wearing a medium or an extra large makes no difference in how I experience my life and how I affect the people around me. And yeah. So I just started saying F it, and I just put on clothes and bought what fit me, because also too, things that are a little more loose or just a little more comfortable are gonna boost your confidence and make you feel beautiful. Okay, last one. Educate yourself. Start educating yourself and looking around at the unrealistic beauty standards that are present in our society. Understanding the societal influences on our body image can empower you to start challenging them. Remember that building a positive body image is definitely a journey. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and prioritize self-love and acceptance. If you are loving everything that I'm kind of covering in this video, then my one-on-one health coaching, Nurtured and Nourished, could definitely be for you. If you are someone who has spent a lot of time dieting in the past and then doing nothing and feeling like a failure, and you're just ready to kind of create a healthy lifestyle in a more balanced and sustainable way, we're definitely going to dive into intuitive eating in my program and kind of start looking at ways that you can simply and easily start shifting things to feel better in your life. We want to start tuning into our bodies versus relying on any external factors such as calories or macros or points or any of those like traditional diets that we see out there. If you're someone who struggles with overeating your favorite foods, oh gosh, I did that for years. Literally probably 5-6 years. I couldn't keep cookies in the house because I could eat a whole pack of Oreos in one weekend. I would eat a whole loaf of banana bread in 2 nights. Pizza, I could split a whole pizza with my husband. I would go out to eat on the weekends and just gorge myself. I would restrict eating out all week and just tell myself that like this is a cheat day, so you might as well like get it in because you're not gonna do it for a while. Not that these things are like bad from time to time, like it's gonna happen. And it still happens from time to time, but this was something that was happening so regularly for me, and I just felt so out of control, I think is a good way to put it, and it didn't feel good. So whereas now, you know, I've had that same pack of Oreos up in the cupboard for 2 weeks now, and I can make banana bread and not eat all of it. And it's just, these things sound so small, but when you're someone like, you know, if you're someone that really struggled with the overeating and just having stomach aches after you eat constantly, like, and not because I'm intolerant to anything, just because I ate way too much and blew past my fullness cues. If you know what that's like, then you know how good it might feel, or you can maybe imagine like how good it might feel to be able to be in control of that. And also, if you're someone too who has burnt yourself out with exercise in the past, and now you're like, I don't even know like where to start with that. Like I don't want to go to the gym every week. I just would like to start enjoying movement again because I'm not feeling very good in my body and I'm not feeling energized. Then Nurtured and Nourished can definitely help you there too. The program is 12 weeks long, so we slowly just are implementing and trying different things and seeing where we can build consistency with movement and routines. And it's really exciting once you feel that you've found something that just feels so good that you look forward to it again. This program is designed to help you ditch the dieting mentality and build confidence in your body again. Like imagine with me here, like you finally look in the mirror and the first thing you do isn't like pick things apart. Like you look in the mirror and you're just like, cool. Like I'm cute. Like you just respect what you see and you have love for yourself because you know how far you've come. You know, at the end of your program, you are feeling a really great balance between eating nourishing, healthy, balanced meals with more fruits and veggies, and also enjoying soul food throughout the week too. Like you can have both. There's no and or, all or nothing. It's like we're gonna blend all of it together. Imagine you can eat anything, enjoy anything, and not like take yourself to a stomach ache. Like you can just have 2 mini little Reese cups and enjoy that. Cool. You can have 3 or 4 Oreos and just be happy about it. You can have, you know, 2 or 3 pieces of pizza instead of the whole half. You're just finally in control of all these foods that used to control you. You feel inspired to go for a walk every day. Like you're incorporating more movement and you're not being obsessive about it. It's a part of your lifestyle now and you enjoy it and you look forward to it because you know how amazing it makes you feel. And lastly, this one's really fun. You can go out to eat and be guilt-free. Like, you're not checking out the menu beforehand to be like, what has the lowest calories? You're not binging and overdoing it and leaving with a horrible stomach ache. You feel good, you feel content. You're looking around, you're like, haha, suckers. Like, I'm sorry your stomach hurts. I feel great. In the back of your mind, like, your body might fluctuate. You might feel a little, whatever after eating out, but you're not like stressed about, oh, I'm gonna weigh myself tomorrow and I'm gonna be like over the top. Like, you won't even probably weigh yourself by the end of this program, because a lot of my clients come in weighing themselves and they leave themselves throwing away their scale, and they just know that their self-worth is not determined on some number on some scale. That's pretty powerful. Together, we'll cultivate a positive relationship with food and nurture a deep sense of respect for your body. On our 3-month coaching journey, we have 6 calls. So every other week, we'll do a coaching call going over the different modules that you'll get access to in Nurtured and Nourished. The modules will cover realistic goal setting, intuitive eating, parts 1 and 2. We cover movement, we cover body image, and we cover gentle nutrition, which is basically starting to like amp up the nutrient density of our foods. The first like 10 weeks, we're not even really talking about what we're eating. We're focused more on our behaviors around and with food. And then the last like 2 weeks, we'll kind of start talking about how you can kind of boost your nutrition if you choose to. You might feel really amazing just doing what you've been doing for those 10 weeks, and you might realize like, you don't even necessarily need to do this too much. I like to include that module because I know a lot of people are wanting to include more fruits and vegetables, but it feels hard and like they're struggling being consistent with it. Lots of habit-based nutrition coaching. And then throughout the week, like day to day, we'll have Voxer coaching, which is basically you can message me throughout the day at any time. Whether you're really excited and proud of yourself for, not overeating at dinner last night when you went out to eat, or you're having a hard day and you don't feel motivated to go get some movement in and you just need a little pep talk. Or maybe you don't want a pep talk and you just want to vent. That's cool too. The messaging has been really beneficial for all my clients. My Nurtured and Nourished one-on-one health coaching program is $997 for 3 months, or you can do monthly payments of $360. So whichever fits your budget better is cool with me. And I totally get like investing in yourself like that can kind of be scary, but it's really important to just know that doing this work and healing your body confidence and healing your relationship with food is gonna open up a lot of doors for you in other areas of your life, so that you're not so restricted and you're not so stressed out all the time, and you can fully just embrace food for what it is and live your life in a body that you love and respect. I will attach a coaching application below. If you fill that out, I will be in touch to share more information about the program with you. So the last part of this video, if you're interested, no pressure, is just some common questions and answers. Just some common questions and answers that people ask about like intuitive eating and one-on-one coaching in general. So the first question is, how can I overcome emotional eating? Because emotional eating is pretty common, but with intuitive eating, you start to address why you're emotionally eating in different ways that you can cope, instead of reaching for food. Building awareness around the trigger, like what's causing you to do that, and then, well, what can I do in place of that? And maybe sometimes you do continue to allow yourself to use food. I think that sometimes just the stigma around that sometimes can cause us to do it more often and then feel that shame and guilt, and then just continue eating because we feel shame and guilt around it. And we're like, well, we already messed up. Whereas if you just allow yourself to use food as an emotional tool without bringing shame around it and just letting it be, I think sometimes that can be very wholesome and help you be more mindful while you are doing it so that you don't overdo it. Another question is provide some examples about how intuitive eating works. So it's pretty simple in general, but until you start like putting it into practice, you'll see that it takes practice. Listening to your hunger cues when you feel hungry, eating, stopping once you're starting to feel full. They struggle with stopping to eat if something tastes really good, or if they skipped some meals and now they're starving and they eat too fast. They're not listening to their fullness cues when they start to become aware. Another question, what are some simple ways to incorporate daily movement if you're somebody with a busy schedule? And this could look like just finding opportunities to get some movement in what you're already doing. This could be taking short walks, using the stairs at work, doing quick workouts at home, Basically breaking down big chunks of workouts that you used to do back in the day and make them shorter, less intense sessions. So you're still getting in the movement, but it's not like a sweat fest where you need to totally shower and change clothes and all that. Just getting more steps in your day is gonna help you feel a lot better. Next question, how do I deal with societal pressure to conform to certain body standards? So this is gonna come with practice around boosting your body confidence and cultivating a positive body image. You can do this by challenging societal norms, surrounding yourself with more positive people, unfollowing things that trigger you on Instagram and following more body positive accounts, really kind of creating an environment where you have room to heal and room to work on your mindset with those things. And lastly, how can I overcome negative self-talk around my body? And honestly, this takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. By the time that I ever became aware that it was possible to change my mindset around my body, I was like 28 years old, maybe 27. So I had spent, we'll say 13 to 27. I'd spent 14 years not being proud of my body, not respecting my body, and just, it was either meh or I really hated it as I got older. So, it's gonna take a lot of time to like break down those walls and build a better, more supportive mindset. Practice self-compassion, challenge those negative thoughts, focus on your body's strengths and capabilities. If you give it time and give yourself grace, you will slowly but surely start to get on the same team as your body. Thank you for joining this masterclass, Balanced Blueprint to Navigate a Diet-Free, Body-Positive Life. It really means a lot that you took the time to hang out with me and see what kind of goodies I had to deliver. I hope you found these strategies and insights helpful as you decide to implement intuitive eating, daily movement, and body confidence into your life.